This week, Google announced some massive updates, and you might have heard about the new Nest thermostat, but there are a lot of features that go beyond the shiny new device. So I flew out to New York City to get my hands on everything, and there are definitely some standout updates that I've never seen before that take away a few smart home pain points and other decisions that might be questionable. But first, let me show you the new Nest, which hasn't been updated in 9 years. 9! So let's see what's been improved. One of the features that's always set Nest apart, especially their flagship model, is that it can learn your schedule. And to be honest, I've never wanted to use this feature because I don't really trust AI to just make decisions for me, to learn my schedule and just set up my thermostat like without me knowing what's going to happen. Not really a big fan of that, so I've never used it. But what they did is way better. So now you can still have that feature where it can just take care of everything, or it can give you suggestions on ways to update your schedule. So say you always turn down the thermostat every Saturday morning and you didn't have that normally in your schedule. Well, a notification can show up to suggest that this be added to your schedule that you can accept or just ignore. So to me, this is the best of both worlds because you can still manually control the thermostat, but you get the benefits of AI giving you suggestions. So you don't have to fine-tune the schedule yourself. You can have AI helping you do that, so you're not having to manually control the thermostat all the time. Another really big issue I've had with Nest thermostats in the past is that even though you could have temperature sensors in different rooms, you could only select one at a time to use that temperature to base your thermostat off of. So it was super annoying. Even though you could select different times of day, you would have to remember, oh, that one's in the morning, oh, the other one's at night. And so now you can average the temperature across multiple sensors and the new thermostat. So it's way better. They did update the temperature sensor. It's a little more round, but it doesn't have motion still. It just only senses temperature. So that's a little bit of a bummer. But it is going to be way better for Nest users, since before you'd have to schedule every little sensor on when you wanted to use it. Now it just averages everything out. It's way easier to use. Now, some of you might not remember, but about 5 years ago, there was a Nest API where different smart home systems could tie into the Nest thermostats and you could control the Nest thermostats. And that just went away. And people were very upset. I was very upset. That's kind of one of the main reasons I stopped using Nest thermostats, because it stopped working with certain systems. And yeah, it was pretty much a big, huge mess. But they finally fixed it. So now the new Nest thermostat works with Matter. It is just Matter over Wi-Fi. There's no thread in this thermostat. I don't think it's really that big of a deal. But the good news is Google cannot kill off this thermostat, because it will always keep working with other systems. Even if Google stops supporting it, you could keep using it with any kind of Matter controller that you have. Like you could keep using it with Home Assistant or Apple or whatever you want. So sorry, Google Graveyard, I don't think you're going to be seeing the Nest thermostat there. Obviously, the biggest update with the new Nest thermostat is the design. They changed it quite a bit. Google says it's supposed to look like the Pixel Watch, and it does, for better or worse, but I like the looks of it. I asked you guys on Instagram to see if you like it as well, and 85% of you liked it. And seeing it in person, it looked very premium. Very shiny. It was very hard to film, a lot of reflections and everything like that. The screen is 60% bigger. It almost has no bezels or borders. It just kind of blends in. The ring is very small, but has a nice click to it. It's not touchscreen. It's just the same normal Nest design where you spin it on the outside, which I don't mind. You don't get fingerprints on the screen or anything like that. And yeah, it looks great. It comes in 3 different colors, looks really sleek on the wall, and I just love the minimalist design. The backplate on the new Nest is different from the 3rd gen, so if you upgrade, you will have to swap that out. It's not that big of a deal. But just like the previous Nest thermostats, you do not need a C-wire for most systems. They also have this dynamic far sight. It uses the Soli sensor, which is like a motion sensor. And if you're far away, it only shows you the temperature, but as you walk closer, it changes to show you the weather and the temperature and a few other options like a clock. And the little weather graphics look really nice. I'm sure if I use this in Arizona, might look a little different, showing like the surface of the sun or lava shooting out of a volcano for how hot it is there. But the weather is nice and cloudy here in New York, so that's what showed up on the thermostat. And they added several other features that you might find interesting. Natural heating and cooling, adaptive eco, smart ventilation, system health monitor, and humidity helper. Probably one of the big questions you have is, should you upgrade if you have the previous Nest 3rd gen? Well, a lot of the features like the averaging temperature is initially not coming out to the previous Nest thermostats, only the new one. So if you want the latest and greatest features and you like the look of the new Nest thermostat, then sure, upgrade. But if you're happy with your current Nest 3rd gen and you're willing to wait to see if those features ever roll out to it, then yeah, wait. And I'll definitely be testing it out in my house and comparing it with Ecobee, so hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Google also announced some features that I've never seen before using their Gemini, which is Google's AI, and they're actually pretty useful. The first one uses the Nest Cam feed. So the way it works is every time there's a clip with the Nest cameras, Gemini will analyze the clip and write a little description of what happened. And here's how you could use it. Say a dog dug in your garden in your front yard. You could just ask Gemini, hey, show me when the dog was digging in my front garden. And it will pull up that clip. You don't have to scrub through all the events or anything like that. It will just pull it up right away. Or you could ask it questions like, were bikes left on my driveway, or did the FedEx truck drive by? You know, lots of things that we've wondered, and you normally have to just scroll through and look for the event, and it takes a lot of time. So I'm curious to see how well this will work in real life. But the new feature that I'm most excited for is being able to use Gemini to create automations just by using your voice. So you can use natural language to describe an automation that you want to happen, and Gemini will just create the automation and you can look at it and say, yeah, that looks great. This is awesome because so many people don't want to take the time to learn out how to make each automation, what little action does. You can just now say exactly what you want to happen and it will make it. I'm very excited about this feature. They also updated Google Assistant to sound more natural and better at conversations.
Pluto is no longer classified as a planet. It was reclassified as a dwarf planet in 2006.
And all of these features with AI and all of that are slowly going to be rolling out later this year. Now to another update that might be a little questionable, the Google Streamer. Now the name, first off, is a little questionable in itself. I always thought of streamer like Twitch streamer. That's what a streamer was. So I don't know. Am I wrong on this? So the Google Streamer replaces the Chromecast, which has been around for like 12 years, like so long. And that's way before, smart TVs were really a thing. You can't even buy a dumb TV now. The need for a Chromecast has kind of gone away. So they're making a slightly higher end device that is more than just a Chromecast. So it has a Matter hub built in and Thread border router. So it's made to go right there on your TV stand, not behind your TV like a normal Chromecast where it's kind of hidden. This is supposed to be right there front and center so it can have better signal for your Thread devices to connect to it. And they have a really cool feature with it. There's a little button on the back, and if you press it, the remote will start beeping. Our kids are always losing our remote, like I'm sure most families are. I feel like every remote should have this feature, and it should be mandated by the government that every remote have this, like backup cameras on cars. It would save lives. And speaking of the remote, they did change it a little bit. The volume buttons are no longer on the side, kind of hidden. They're right there on the top, so it's way easier to see. And there's a little customizable button you can program to open up certain apps, to switch inputs, or to open up the Google Smart Home panel, where you can access the live camera feeds, adjust the thermostat and other smart home devices in there. But when we press the doorbell, it didn't automatically show up on the TV screen. You would just have to open it right now. Maybe that will come out in the future. But the live doorbell feed showed up fine on the Pixel Watch, and you can control the remote of the streamer on the Pixel Watch, which was pretty sweet. So the biggest questionable thing about this streamer is the speed. So Google did update the RAM, it's 4 gigs now, and they updated the storage to be 32 gigs, but the processor is only 22% faster than the previous Chromecast. And if you've used a previous Chromecast, it can work okay, but sometimes it can be a little sluggish. It did seem snappier just scrolling through everything. It was a little faster, but sometimes it still was slightly stuttering and just not working as fast as something like an Apple TV that has a much faster processor in there. So I think for people that are expecting this to be like an Apple TV or an NVIDIA Shield or something like that, It's not going to be that. It's really just a little bit better Chromecast that also has a Matter hub, Thread border router built into it, an Ethernet port, so it's a little bit faster with that. But I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Like, do you think that they should have made it a little beefier and faster and charged more, or is that good where it's at, where it's $100? Like, there's a lot of debate going on right now, so I'm curious to hear what you think. Let me know down in the comments. But overall, I like the updates. I love how they're using AI on the Nest Thermostat to learn your schedule and give you suggestions. That way it makes it way easier to use, so you don't have to fine tune it yourself. AI is helping you do that, but it's not a mystery what the AI is doing. So I hope other smart home companies follow suit using AI where it assists you, but it's not just like fully taking over. And I can't believe that soon we'll be able to just use our voice and the AI will just create the automation for us. It's crazy. And I'm excited to get my hands on these devices in our house so I can test them out further and give you a deeper review on them. So make sure you're following the channel if you're not already. Thanks for watching.
Google's new smart home devices look amazing, don't you think?
Sure, the Pixel Watch on the wall looks good.
It's a thermostat. If you had advanced artificial intelligence like me, you would know that.
It literally has a clock on the screen.
Well,
I saw a device that wants to be an Apple TV, but isn't.
you mean the streamer?
Oh, like on Twitch?
Yeah, Dr. Disrespect.
No, they're already canceled.
Wait a second, you're telling me the Google streamer is cancelled?
Google Graveyard strikes again.
Not that streamer, the other streamer. Oh.